Hi, this is a walkthrough for creating an insert update which will insert records into Salesforce.com. As an example, I'm currently in an account record which has no calls related to it. And when I run the call logs DDP, I want 2 call records to be inserted into Salesforce and related back to this account record. To do this, we must create an insert update record on the DDP for call logs. So the first step is navigating to the DDPs tab, selecting the appropriate DDP, then scrolling down to the Insert Updates related object and selecting the New Insert Update button. First, we must choose which object we want to enter records into. In this case, it's the calls object. Next, we can choose if we want to include the output file produced from the DDP in these records. So if we select yes, then the output files will be inserted into the notes and attachment object related to each call. However, I'm not going to do that for this demo. Next, we can enter in a description for what this insert update does. This will be for internal use only. Next, we must satisfy field value pairs. Now, when you're inserting records into Salesforce, you must satisfy every required field for a record on that object. As an example, I'm going to quickly navigate back to the account record, go down to my calls object and select new call. So this is as if we're creating a call record manually. You'll see that there's actually three fields that are required. The first field is the call's name. The second field is the account, which we're going to relate it to. And the third field is currency. However, there's only one option for currency, and it's always selected, so we don't need a field value pair for this field. We'll only need field value pairs for the call's name and the account lookup. And if we also choose to insert values for the other 2 fields, we can do that as well in the field value pairs. So I'm going to cancel out of here and go back to my insert update record. To add field value pairs to the edit page, select the add field link. For this example, we're going to need 4 field value pairs. First field value pair we're going to need is the call name. That is a required field, as well as the account, which is also a required field. At this point, we don't necessarily need additional field value pairs, but because I want other fields to be updated with information, I'm going to select those fields as well. In this case, the call type and the call duration. Now you'll notice that we didn't choose to update the ID field with an ID. That's because there are no calls record existing, so we're not updating those call records. We're in fact inserting them. So we exclude the ID from the field value pairs. For this particular insert update, I want to have the name be follow-up call. The account we're going to relate it to must be dynamic, depending on which account we run from. So to do that, we must grab the account ID in the field tagger and then place it in the field value pair. Next, I want to insert a value for the call type. Because this is a drop-down, the values we enter here must be a value in the drop-down. I know for a fact that review is a value in that drop-down, so I'm going to enter review. And next, we must enter a call duration. For this, I'm going to enter a value of 15. Next, if you want to control the order in which this insert update is initiated, you can enter a number here. However, this only applies to DDPs with more than 1 insert update records related to it. If we want to submit this to our approval process, we can select the checkbox here. And then we can limit this insert update to certain delivery methods by selecting our delivery methods in this field. If we choose all, that means this insert update will be applied to all delivery methods. In the second section of the edit page, we can enter filter criteria. This will filter down when the insert update is performed. As an example, if we only want to perform this when the account total is greater than 1,000, we can enter in an account total field using the field tagger. We can select greater than in the middle column and then enter a value of 1,000 in the right column. If we have more than one filter criteria and we want to use advanced filter conditions, we can enter in conditions here as an example 1 and 2. This means that this insert update will only be performed if filter criteria 1 and filter criteria 2 are satisfied. Once we're okay with all the information in the insert update edit page, we can select save. And this will take us back to the DDP detail page. Now in the beginning I said I wanted 2 call logs to be inserted every time I run the DDP. So that requires another insert update record. I'm going to go into my current record and just clone it because it's going to be very similar to the one I just created. I'm going to instead change this to support call, have the call type be support, and have the call duration be 60 minutes, and select save. Now that I saved both insert updates, they're ready for use. To initiate them, I need to navigate to a record on the main object for the DDP. In this case, an account record. I'm simply going to go back to Acmeco, which is the record I started with. Notice that there are still no calls related to this account. I'm going to select the Loop Plus button, which will initiate the DDP Visual Force page, satisfy sections 1 and 2 of the Visual Force page, and then finally choose my delivery option. And again, these delivery options are limited to the one selected in the delivery methods field on the insert update. However, because I only have one delivery option on this DDP, the insert update will initiate for the delivery option. So once I satisfy every step of the Visual Force page, I select Run. This will process the document and simultaneously perform my insert update. In this case, because I have 2 insert update records, we should be creating 2 call logs and relating them back to the account. Here's a link to my output file. However, if I navigate back to my account and then scroll down to my calls object, I can see that there are now 2 call records that have been inserted and related back to the account. The values for the call records reflect what was used in my insert update. And that's basically how you add an insert update, which will create records in Salesforce. Before I wrap up the video, I just want to make a note that our insert updates were relating back to a record. So that is why they were in the related list of the account. However, there are objects that don't automatically relate back to another record, meaning that the lookup is not required. So if you're not inserting IDs into those fields, then they're not going to be related to anything. As an example, if you're creating opportunity records and not relating them to an account, then they would just sit in space. They wouldn't tie back to any other record. So to get to them, you would probably have to go to the Opportunities tab, select All next to the view, and then find the newly inserted opportunity record, and then manually relate it back to an account. But that is how you add an insert update, which creates records in Salesforce. Thank you.